A glider hamstring curl may seem like a lower body exercise because it targets the hamstrings, as the name suggests. However, I do typically program this exercise as more of a core exercise because it is going to challenge the muscles of your abs in order to prevent your lower back from arching, say if we're doing like a plank or a dead bug or something like that. And it's also going to be challenging the muscles of your hamstrings in their shortened position to be strong in what's called closing angle hamstring strength, which is going to tie into a lot of core stability, hip stability, knee stability when we are doing a lot of our more compound exercises like squats and lunges and split squats and things like this. So I would consider this more of a core exercise or something that you might add on in between lower body exercises to just target those muscles and get them activated. So all you're going to need for this exercise is a set of gliders. If you don't have a set of these, you may be able to get away with some towels if you have like a hardwood floor. And then optional, I have something that I'm going to be squeezing in between my knees. You don't need to do this, however, I do find that the inner hamstrings will activate better if you have something to squeeze in between your knees while you're doing this exercise, and I have a foam roller for that. You can also use a yoga block or something that is relatively thick, about here. So we're going to start on our back. And the key to this exercise is to make sure that your lower back stays totally flat into the ground. You want to be in what's called posterior pelvic tilt, so your hips are tucked underneath you, kind of like you're trying to, like a dog pooping almost, like they round their butt underneath them. And we want to have the feet flat on the gliders. I do not want to see the toes pointed up. If the toes are pointed up, it's actually going to allow the calves to do some of the work and you will not activate your hamstrings quite as much. If you keep your toes pointed down, still trying to push through the heels, but not letting the toes lift up too much, then your hamstrings will be able to work harder. And then like I said, I'm going to squeeze something in between my knees. So starting on my back, I'm going to roll my pelvis underneath me so that there's absolutely no gap in between the floor and my lower back. So I'm pressing my ribs down and I'm crushing my back to the floor. And then in order to keep this position, I find that if I do a little bit of a reach up with my arms, whether it be reaching my knuckles to the ceiling or reaching my elbows to the ceiling, that helps lock my rib cage down and my abs stay more activated. The abs being on during this exercise is the key to working the hamstrings the most. So you should be feeling your abs the whole time. I'm going to start with a soft bend in my knees, just getting them as straight as I can while keeping my feet flat on the gliders. I'm going to really dig in with my heels, and I'm going to think about sliding my heels back as slow as I can, pushing down and back, squeezing my knees together, and coming in as far as I can before my lower back lifts off the ground or my heels lift off the ground. And I'm going to squeeze here as hard as I can, and then release it. So you want to go very slow on the way in, pushing your whole foot into the ground, creating your own resistance. It's only hard if you make it hard. You can make these really easy if you don't press down hard. But if you want to get the most out of this exercise, you should be pushing your heels down as hard as you can.